in order to keep your population even is 2.1%.
The worm
We
needs
are below
more
replacement rate.
sacrifice.
That is a national
At
security
the
threat to our
altar,
country.
you must
And
all
we know why this
be
is happening.
servile to the worm. We must overcome
endocrine
the
disruptors,
replacement rates.
the chemicals that
Otherwise,
today
the worm will
average
not have
teenager in
enough
this country
biomatter.
count
Is doing an operation.
Here today to announce a historic victory for American women. The actions I will outline this afternoon will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs for countless millions of Americans. Prices are going way down, way down. I want to thank Libby Horn, who is the Senior Vice President of Fertility of EMD Serrano. So I want to thank you. Let's see here. That's what I thought. I thought it was you. Thank you, Libby, very much. And let me also thank the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., whose wife destroyed the people on The View yesterday.
Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals refused to undo order blocking deployment of the district court's factual findings were not clearly erroneous, and the facts do not justify the president's actions.
She did a great job, actually. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Thank you, Howard.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but thank God for at least some of the courts in this country that are literally like it is the elastic band that is on its last leg that is slated to snap at any moment, but it is straight up holding what remains of like American institutions together before we just completely collapse and become an authoritarian dictatorship. Straight up. It is literally just like it's on its last leg, this last barrier. It's like the Cheeto before the SWAT team comes in and breaks the door. But so far, the Cheeto has held. Okay, you know how the little Cheeto meme? Holding the door together? That's what the American courts are, okay? Woke Antifa judges saving America.
IVF in the United States can cost up to $25,000, can actually go a lot higher than that. And many couples require multiple rounds for a successful pregnancy. A major reason for these high prices is the excessive cost of the drugs involved. The number one fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And you know, we're
I wonder why.
ending all of that.
I wonder why.
Favored nations, and we're ending it, and we're ending it pretty fast. Nobody thought we'd be able to do it, and we've done it. Drugs are going to come down. Drug prices are coming down. 400%, 200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
Like the officers' court, the mid-levels of the judicial branch think the Supreme Court's capitulation is outrageous. Is turning out the institution's bureaucratic middle are it turns out the institution's bureaucratic middle are the ones most interested in jealously guarding the institution's power. Yeah, except when you look at the legislative structure, unironically, Congress itself has completely diminished its own responsibility and its own power. So thank God, like I said, that there is at least something in the American separation of powers, at least for now, that is trying to safeguard what remains of its little power it has, okay? Because they could be just like Congress, a bunch of cowards. Because, and I've stressed this before, like this is a part of the conversation with the government shutdown. Republicans also don't like that the Donald Trump administration at the executive office has decided to renege on prior allocations of the budget that Congress actually fought for. You are taking away the last remaining power of Congress, the power of the purse. You are basically making it so that the average congressperson has no power whatsoever. And it is Republican congresspersons alongside Democratic congresspersons that have allowed this to happen without fighting back, which is why like this government shutdown is important for that in that regard as well. It is crazy. Imagine if the courts also were this servile to the Trump administration's whims. Even the lower court structure was as servile to the Trump administration's whims as Congress has been. It would be it would be over.
In the Trump administration, we want to make
First Antifa charges are coming in, and it's about ICE. The Trump administration's first Antifa-related domestic charges were just filed. The indictment defines Antifa as a Marxist ideology. Antifa is a militant enterprise made up of networks of individuals, small groups, primarily ascribing to a revolutionary, anarchist, or autonomous Marxist ideology, which explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and the system of law. Antifa adherents have espoused insurrection and advocated violence. Oh my God, the fact that they're saying espoused insurrection is so crazy because only the Trump administration has actively done an insurrection. The Trump cronies have literally done an insurrection. The January 6th guy is literally saying that Antifa is doing espousing insurrection. It is actually very dangerous. It's a very dangerous ideology to entertain. Oh my God. Antifa adherents have espoused insurrection and advocated for violence that affect the policy and conduct of the U.S. government by intimidation and coercion beginning in 2025. Oh, I don't even know who they're going after in this regard. I'm surprised. I haven't received a subpoena, so we'll see.
Pergovirus. And that says Pergovirus. Why can't you name them nice, simple names? Nice, easy names. Doesn't matter. If it works, that's all we care about, right? Upon approval, this drug would directly compete against a much more expensive option that currently has a monopoly in the American market, and this will bring down costs very significantly. And the other one's going to have to come down also. Finally, EMD Serrano has agreed that all future drugs and everything that it develops and sells in the United States will be offset at most favored nation prices. I've been after this for a long time, and we started the process in the last administration, and then we had a little thing called COVID that came up. We had to focus on that, did a good job on that too. And they'll bring a significant portion of their drug manufacturing back to the United States. So they're going to bring it largely back into the United States, and that's for a lot of reasons, but primarily because of the election result, November 5th, and maybe most importantly because of the tariffs, because if they do it here, there are no tariffs. So we're going to be very close, I think by the end of this year, we're going to be very close to $20 trillion in investment. As an example, the Biden administration had less than $1 trillion, substantially less than $1 trillion for 4 years, Maria. Can you imagine? 4 years, less than one. We're going to break $20 trillion of investment, and we're already over $17 trillion, and that's in 8 months. Can you believe that? And he was at less than $1 trillion. And in addition to that, millions of people to pour in what an administration that was worst president in history by far. As a result of these actions, the per cycle cost of drugs used in IVF will fall by an estimated 73%.
Biden couldn't make up numbers like I
for
could.
American
He was
consumers, and the numbers are
incapable.
going to actually be
I'm the best
very
at making up
substantially higher
numbers.
as time goes
Everything's
by, when it really
computer.
kicks in
Everything's
for most of-
AI.
I mean, think of those numbers.
Are these numbers even
I
true, or
told
is
the
he just
story
lying
last
again?
time 'cause we were
Make
with-
no mistake. Anytime Donald Trump actually reveals a number, just know that it's on the spot. That is precisely the reason why it changes with regular frequency. Okay? It changes all the time. One day, it's, 17 quadrillion dollars. The next day, it's 18. Even the amount of wars that he has, quote unquote, stopped changes all the time. Sometimes it says he's actually technically stopped 20 wars. It was 7, now it's 8. Sometimes, if we were being honest, it's more than 20. It's just anytime he brings up a number, just know that he's making that shit up on the spot. Yeah, I know you know, but it's a good reminder for Chad. The numbers he's throwing around are literally made up bullshit. The whole budget of the USA is $6.8 trillion. He's claiming triple the whole USA budget is being invested in the USA Lamau. Yes, these are at best IOUs that he claims he's getting from foreign countries, and there is no indication that these will be firm commitments to invest on U.S. soil. And we have yet to see any of those investments. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump's own ambitions in terms of advancing a white nativist anti-immigration agenda has cooked a major trade partner, South Korea, and caused them to reconsider the investments that they would have made or the investments that they have made so far, because ICE went to a Hyundai facility and did a perp walk with a bunch of Korean laborers that had come on U.S. soil to build a factory that was going to hire like 7,000 American workers. He did that shit. So he's constantly getting in his own way as well.
Fertility insurance for the first time So I don't know. I don't know how well these things are covered. I see the Democrats like to take credit for all of the things we do. We do the things and they take the credit. But I figure if you do enough of these, eventually people are going to figure it out. The Democrats have done nothing. This will make all fertility care, including IVF, far more affordable and accessible. And by providing coverage,
I do think that the worst part about this is that, like, the dumbest guy you know believes this sincerely. Like, the dumbest person you know is tuning into this by way of, like, Asmongold or whatever, and is going, that's my president. The Democrats are doing nothing. I mean, which is not technically incorrect. And going, that's my big, beautiful president. He's actually bringing the cost of drugs down, and he's protecting the nation. And also, we have to invade Venezuela immediately. Okay, there are at least 40 to 50 million Americans who 100% believe all the shit that he said.
And I will say, Katie was great. As you know, she's a great senator from Alabama. She's the first one that told me about this. I had not known too much about it, and we worked very rapidly together, didn't we, though?
I learned about IVF, and it became
Alabama
the father of
then
IVF.
took care of it and passed it. Within a week, everything was done. Really, it was something. So I want to thank Katie, Brett. There's no deeper happiness and joy of raising children, and now millions of Americans struggling with infertility will have a new chance to share the greatest experience of them all. So I'd like to thank all of the people that are here, and I think we'll start with Dr. Oz and Ms. Horn. We'll go through the list, and
Thank
we'll
God RFK's not there.
listen.
Oh my God!
And yesterday I did this, and I stood for about an hour and a half as people spoke, and I said, "This time I'm sitting right there, and I'm going to watch you." I stood for an hour and a half like this. I said, "You got to be kidding!" Here we go. It was one after another, and it was wonderful listening to him. But I said, if I have to do this every day, Bobby, should I stand or sit? Thank you, Bobby.
He is there.
Please, Dr. Oz.
Is Bobby Kennedy there? Oh, God. Oh, he is there.
Mr.
Oh, I
President,
hope
I'm
he
going to
doesn't
jump
talk.
in here real quick. I want to start by thanking President Trump. Sir, from the very first phone call we ever had, your support was strong. It was steadfast. It was unwavering. And because of you,
I spoke too soon,
millions of Americans are going to have a greater opportunity to bring the greatest gift, in my opinion, life into this world.
If we ever have a sense of normalcy in this country, if there's ever like a real left flank opposition that ends up winning power in this country, take note of all of the successful modes of communication that the Trump administration is implementing. This is actually very good. Technically, okay? It's good for governance. Whoever comes next, especially if they are like a AMLO style or a Claudia Sheinbaum style left flank social democratic socialist, I'm dreaming, sky's the limit, should be doing daily conferences such as this one and communicating their agenda, ruining the reputation of the opposition, and belittling them with regular frequency, and talking about how wonderful it is that we are finally doing this stuff. Because, like, this is important. It's important to constantly communicate directly whatever your administration's agenda is. Okay? This was a major problem for the Biden administration because Biden was far too old, far too demented. He couldn't get away with it. He could not communicate any of the shit that they were doing, including some of the good things that they were doing. Like, I'm a firm believer that Build Back Better or the IRA, like a lot more of the initial Biden legislative agenda could have been accomplished if they did a better job of presenting it, if they also bullied some of the spoilers in their own party, right? They should have done that. This is something that I yelled about quite a bit when Biden was president. But unfortunately, it wasn't within the capabilities of the administration at the time because he was far too old, okay?
Just for the record, IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump taking this action today to lower cost, to bring these issues to the forefront, and to enact solutions for people working to start their families. I want you to know it's significant and there's more to come. But this isn't the only thing that you've done to prove that we're the party of parents and we're the party of families. If you look at the working family tax cut, guys, he made sure that hard-working parents were front and center in that legislation. You know, whether it was child tax credits being expanded and made permanent, whether it was Trump accounts that are going to change the game for so many parents, or whether it was childcare. So for decades, we have heard Democrats talk about childcare. President Trump actually took action on the affordability and accessibility of childcare. We know that 1 in 4 families say that they hesitate to have more children because of the cost and because of childcare cost. For the first time, this man actually took steps to change the dynamics for hardworking parents. So of the 3 tax credits that he reformed and the working families tax cuts, 2 of them had not been touched in 2 decades, and 1 of them had not been touched since 1986. So President Reagan was in office the last time anybody did anything about it. But you changed the game on that, and I was proud to lead that effort in the Senate. And so on behalf of moms and dads, on behalf of grandparents and sisters and aunts and uncles and brothers and people who are looking to expand their family, we say thank you. Thank you for all you do to support families in this country and make a healthier environment and an easier one for us to grow the very most important thing.
Great, thank you.
God bless.
So nice. Thank you.
So let's set the stage. To put it in perspective, 2 weeks ago, as President Trump alluded, a leading U.S. drug manufacturer came into this room and agreed to do something none of us thought was possible. A most favored nation agreement with numbers, again, inconceivable. Last week, a company from Europe, a global leader in the pharmaceutical sector, came to this office, made the same kind of commitment for most favored nation pricing, again, because the president insisted on it and was persistent, and he alluded to the fact that he was calling Secretary Kennedy.
I think one of the craziest aspects of this is that these guys obviously very desperately want to increase the birth rates, specifically the white birth rates, right? We all know that this is a major issue for a lot of these dipshits. Because obviously, if the declining birth rates across the board were a major problem, then they wouldn't be shutting off immigration, which has kept the American working class relatively young as opposed to other developing nations. But they have this association, this like great replacement narrative that has set in the collective consciousness of a lot of the financial elite, except making IVF more accessible or cheaper is great. I have no issue with that. It's awesome. But the problem with having more children is not specifically the cost associated with people who are having a harder time, having children at a later age. What's wrong with increasing the white birth rate? Great question. What's wrong with the white birth rate decreasing? Like, what is whiteness? What's the issue? Seriously, explain to me what is the problem with America becoming like a more diverse country without coming across like a Nazi, please. Whiteness is a recessive gene? No, it's made up. It's completely made up. It's not even a recessive gene. It's just made up to be a recessive gene because it's purity. It's considered purity. So you're impure if you have less whiteness. It is a completely fabricated social construct. It's not a gene. It's just a made up social construct. I am the living, breathing proof that whiteness is a social construct. Okay? I'm pastier than the average white person. And yet, some white people, when they hear my name and they hear about my background, go, that's not a white guy at all. That's a Muslim. So how can you sit here and tell me that this is a made up phenomena? If some people who have pale skin are not considered white and others who have tan skin are, especially considering that I'm like way pastier than the average Italian American, for example. How can you see this as anything but a totally made up association? That's it. There is no issue with America becoming a more diverse country. What's wrong? You're right. Oh, damn. That was nice. Okay. Hell yeah. Anyway, the point I was trying to explain, by the way, is that the real issue, the real cost associated with like declining birth rates is not because IVF is too costly. That's only one aspect of it. It's that child rearing, child development is too costly, especially at a time when you no longer have single income households that can keep the entire family afloat. You need both parents working constantly, sometimes multiple jobs. How the fuck are they going to take care of a kid on top of that, especially with all the costs associated with it, when you got motherfuckers like Zohran Mamdani being like, I want universal child care, and people go, that's socialism. We have to arrest you. The average cost of having a baby in a hospital is like 10 grand minimum, and people are like, well, we made IVF less costly. Okay, that's just the starting point. People are too busy.
It's real lives, dreams, and aspirations of hardworking Americans. The teacher who goes to school each day, surrounded by children, but aching for children of her own. The firefighter who puts his life on the line, but can't create the life he wants at home. The consequences of these challenges can take significant tolls. Some of you watching today have given up or are frustrated because access to IVF treatments has been out of reach. That's why expanding access to IVF has been an issue of great importance to the president. He made this clear in his executive order declaring the administration's goal of supporting American families by enabling access and eliminating barriers to IVF. Today, EMD Serono is proud to help President Trump deliver on his promise to you.
It's so funny that they pan to him, like they have a camera on him all the time.
Thanks to the president's leadership,
just showing him
EMD
nodding.
Serono has worked alongside distributors and other partners to help
He's so
more
fucking
families
bored. Are you a person of
have access to
color? What do you
services and
think, dude?
innovations
I'm not.
that are
I'm white.
consistent with
I
other
say I'm white
countries.
all the time. But other
Through
white
our
people seem
partnership
to
with the
not agree.
administration, we are proud to announce that Americans will have access to our leading IVF therapies for an 84% discount off list prices. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for making this possible.
Thank you very much. That's great. Fantastic.
For more than 40 years, EMD Serono has been a global leader in fertility. Our science was instrumental in the birth of the first IVF baby in the US, and we've helped to bring more than 6 million babies into the world since then. Our purpose is to help create, improve, and prolong life. That means discovering more medicines and bringing them to patients faster. FDA Commissioner McCary has made it a priority to ensure that Americans have access to the world's most innovative treatments as quickly as possible. To that end, EMD Serono is filing a new IVF therapy called Pergoveris for review under the FDA Commissioner's National Priority Voucher Program. If approved, Pergoveris would combine two key reproductive hormones in synergy designed to mimic reproductive physiology. This therapeutic option could mean
Unironically
fewer
ethical
injections,
react.
fewer copays, and lower self-pay cost, all of which make a real difference in the IVF patient experience.
I thought IVF was
In
woke.
closing-
No, these guys are so obsessed with declining white birth rates that there are some on the Christian nationalist front that oppose IVF and say it's like, ungodly and it must be abolished. But Trump very quickly was like, we're not doing that. Like from the start, he's been Mr. IVF because they are all super duper worried about the declining white birth rates in general.
Mr. President, thank you for your bold leadership that's allowed our teams to go far beyond what anyone thought was possible. On behalf of the Domestic Policy Council and Vince Haley here, we would like to also thank all the agency partners and the stakeholders that we worked with to get to the solution today that will make a real impact for families. Specifically, today's historic actions, 4 in total that you see, are made possible by coordination of all of the White House team and 7 agencies, many of who are represented here, and their teams that have worked tirelessly. As you described, Mr. President, the current system isn't working. 7 in 10 Americans don't have coverage to IVF. They face high costs and uncertain outcomes.
Trump makes you a
And
lazy,
there's
boring
intense
streamer. He's a
demand
lazy,
for
boring
fertility
streamer.
benefits.
Look at his reacts. He doesn't say anything. He
65%
falls
of
asleep on
Americans say
camera.
that they would leave their current job just because of fertility benefits. So you asked us to lower costs and to fix the broken.
Trump is unironically a more boring
In
streamer than me.
addition to lowering the cost of
Look at
drugs by
him.
73%,
No,
or
react harder,
$2,200
react harder,
per
react
cycle,
harder,
which,
react
if you
harder.
missed it, most people require 2 or 3 cycles. So that's significant savings for families. I'm also going to briefly
Boring ass
outline the new
bitch.
solution for coverage.
React harder, Trump.
This is a
You're
new
boring.
fertility benefit option
It's
that
a
employers
snooze
can
fest.
immediately offer to their employees starting today. This afternoon,
not
the Departments
reacting.
of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Treasury will be releasing guidance that, for the first time, creates a legal pathway for employers to offer fertility benefit packages.
He's literally about to
people
fall
that need
asleep.
them,
Look at
similar
him.
to how
Dude, look
dental,
at this.
vision, and life insurance are currently offered. This will be followed up by a regulation. These benefits come of fertility from the root causes
If RFK
of IVF,
comes up,
which
I'm
Secretary
clicking
Kennedy
away.
is
I
working
can't
on
listen to
very
him.
hard
I'm
at
sorry.
HHS
No disrespect.
to
No disrespect to anybody. No disrespect to the RFK lovers in here. I know there are many Maha enjoyers in here, but like there is 0% chance I can listen to him speak. It kills me. I will have to click away.
It'll make it
Okay.
easier for employers, including small and mid-sized
That man,
employers, to compete.
okay,
Many
that
small
man does
businesses
something to me
cannot afford to
when he
offer
starts
fertility benefits
when he
at all.
starts
This is
chirping.
making it possible for them to offer
It
benefits
just
the same way that
well, I don't want to hear from the worm is what I'm
offer
saying.
benefits. This is a pro-family benefit expansion that will transform clinical outcomes by addressing fragmented coverage and care. I'm a physician by training, and it's very important that we have high-quality care. Fertility benefit companies are poised to offer packages that have reported so far roughly 25% higher live birth rates for those that seek care compared to those that don't have such benefits. They also report fewer cycles to achieve pregnancy, improved natural pregnancy rates through better care before you need IVF,
We're RFK holes.
and reduced chance of miscarriages.
Your hate watching MMR is
21%
too low.
reduction in
It is.
miscarriage
It
rate.
is. I can't stand that motherfucker, bro.
Leading physicians in the field have also relayed that these types of benefits significantly
Mitch
improve
McConnell
the
fell. Did you
patient
cover it,
and
bro?
doctor
Not only did I
experience,
cover it
allowing both to
instantly,
focus
it
on
already
care
they
rather than navigating
my
the
editing team was so
bureaucracy.
on it that they made a fucking
These
YouTube short
impacts are
about
very
it.
personal. Here with us today are my good friends, Congressman Richard Hudson of North Carolina and his wife, Renee Hudson. Both have worked in public service for years, including Renee for all 4 years of your past administration, Mr. President, and they struggled with infertility. Today they have a beautiful son who's their pride and joy. He's an amazing boy. But they also suffered multiple losses throughout their fertility journey, something that is very common.
I think maybe this is going to come across as controversial, especially for a leftist to say, but we're really not considering another major component as to why people don't have children nowadays, aside from the costs associated with it. But like, it's also just more fun. Like it's just, you have more time to do fun shit, and having a child is not fun. Like low key, that is part of it. In the past, you couldn't really get away with it because life was awful. It was gruesome. You needed farmhands, and many of your farmhands would die before they reached the age of like 15, right? So you had to fuck and fuck hard and fuck a lot and fuck often, okay? For some, like the good Reverend John Brown, he was trying to build a militia with his semen to limited success. For others, it was about having farmhands. The problem is, in a lot of developed countries, the reason why people just like stop having children partially is because of the cost associated with it, the lack of time that people have. And it's also partly because people just want to have fun instead of having to take care of a baby. I think that is a real aspect in this story. And it's like, it kind of makes sense. You can't really force people to fucking breed, you know? If you don't want to breed, you don't have to. You shouldn't have to. Obviously, the fun component, because like the reason why I'm saying this is because like people are asked in developing countries or developed nations what the major reason is for why they don't have children, and they say it's because they don't want to, because they want the liberties of not being a parent. That is a common meta. Okay? And I think that still ties back to the material circumstances. And what I mean by that is parenthood is not only a costly endeavor, but a time-consuming endeavor, partially because of the things that I just mentioned, which is that you already have very little time for yourself to feel a sense of autonomy in your life, right? We're constantly working. We're on our phones. We're constantly doing something. We're constantly being productive. We're constantly improving productivity for our capital owners. And in that like limited time frame that we have to ourselves, people don't want that to be overtaken by educating a child, taking care of a child. And I think that's what it is. So if you actually took away some of those burdens, and people could actually take care of a child and simultaneously, quote unquote, have fun and have the liberties to feel like a human being, more people would still end up having children. And then there's the antinatalist. No, I just don't want kids. I understand that definitely is a thing that people choose to do. And that's, you have every right to refuse to have a child. Like, no one can force you to do it. But ultimately, I think it always goes back to the free time that people don't have and the costs associated with it. And as long as you do not eradicate the costs associated with child rearing and childbirth, and as long as you do not make it so that people have more liberties in general, with or without having a child, people are just not going to do this. They're just not going to do this, especially in developed nations, especially in with higher educated people in the professional field.
Who only want to hear the words mommy and daddy, who want to watch our children open their Christmas presents on Christmas morning.
I also do think that, like, hearing a bunch of ladies like this talk about the joys of childbirth probably makes many like highly educated professional people feel even grosser about the prospect. Like, this is a bit of an ick.
And promises are kept. Lives are changed forever. Thank you, Mr. President.
It's like a different birth control initiative when you have these ladies come out and be like, I love having children. There is nothing better than being called mommy or daddy.
I was hoping you would say that. Probably come out for a second. What a job you're doing. Yeah, say a few words.
Oh no!
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%.
The worm
We
needs
are below
more
replacement rate.
sacrifice.
That is a national
At
security
the
threat to our
altar,
country.
you must
And
all
we know why this
be
is happening.
servile to the worm. We must overcome
endocrine
the
disruptors,
replacement rates.
the chemicals that
Otherwise,
today
the worm will not have
in
enough
this country.
biomatter.
The sperm count, 50% of the testosterone is a 65-year-old man, are 6 years earlier. And that's bad, but also our parents aren't having children. Parents who want to have children do not have access. I have 7 children. I feel that God has blessed me with that, and I can't imagine how different my life would be if I did not have that blessing. I want to point out also that this morning, Harvard University released a study that showed that the obesity rates have now climbed over 70%. And this, again, is for the same reason we're flooding our kids. We're poisoning mass poisoning a generation of kids with chemicals. President Trump has instructed us to stop these problems at the root cause. He's also recognized that there are people who are injured, people who are not living their life to the fullest, and he's addressing that. Last week, we made GLP drugs available at Most Favored Nation. And this week, it's IVF. I want to thank you so much for that, Mr. President. I saw on an airplane the other day, you said that you didn't believe that you were going to get to heaven. You're doing God's work here. You've made peace in the Middle East, which is beyond anybody's imagination.
Please.
And now you're giving millions
Mr.
of
President,
Americans
the worm commands
chance
you
have
to
babies,
make
and
it to heaven.
You're doing this while the government is locked down. The Democrats But this administration has not stopped working for the American people. And that's because of your energy, your commitment, your vision, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
And he's doing a great job. And by the way, Kyle is fantastic. So he's got a lot of courage. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't care. Howard, you and I would not be good at that. We'd go about 30 miles an hour, but we'd be safe. Anyway, so thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, this is a major campaign promise that you made. It was a big hot topic towards the end of the election. You're delivering on that again. I actually have a question for Secretary Kennedy.
That's not
or
a
Dr.
question.
Heidi. Dr. Heidi, you said something that I thought was really important.
That's not a
Talk about how
question.
This coverage option, this benefit option, gives companies the
Mr.
maximum
President, you're delivering on a
flexibility
major
to
campaign
design,
promise. You're
benefits
incredible.
consistent to their values. I was wondering if either you or the President could expand on that and talk about why that's an important thing to understand about this program.
Oh my God, they got Macaulay Culkin in the fucking
It's a great
White
question.
House, bro.
We think that employers are best situated to know what them and their employees want to contribute to in relation to their benefits. So employers are going to be able to decide how to cover the root causes of infertility, things like obesity, metabolic health, and other things that are impacting infertility. And
Home
also,
Alone.
if they want to encourage their
Home Alone
their
3.
employees to
Lost
see certain
in the
types
White
of doctors,
House.
and they can work with providers that are identifying the highest quality fertility providers. And so it puts them in the driver's seat. And our view is that we want employers to be the ones that can make those decisions, not the government. Thank you.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah, it was.
That's a very good answer.
Home Alone
Yeah, please
4.
go ahead.
Mr. President, previously you did not seem to be bothered regarding Hamas cracking down on what you called gangs. Actually,
What?
couple of gangs. And today you issued a threat.
Yeah,
against
now
Hamas
he got the boss call.
on True
He got the boss
Social.
call this
What
morning
has
from
changed?
Israel.
What was said? Go ahead.
You said if they continue keep killing innocents in Gaza, that if that continues, the United
Yeah,
States
I
will
know.
go
I
after
issued a
them.
strong statement. That's right.
But they used to be gangs, and now you're saying innocents. What made you think they're innocents now?
Well, I'm looking at what's happening, and that wasn't the deal that was made, and we'll see what happens. It's calmed down. It's a tough neighborhood. We know that. We have a commitment from them, and I assume they're going to honor that commitment. I hope they do. And I understand they brought back some additional bodies today. It's a rough deal when you think of it, right? Very rough. We have our hostages back completely. We were very lucky with that. But it's a tough situation. They brought back bodies today, as you probably know. But they also said they're going to behave. We're going to find out if they behave. If they behave good, if they don't behave, we'll take care of it. Yeah, please.
Following up on that, when you
I didn't
said,
say you.
Mr. President,
You
you
CNN, fake news. Go
you
ahead.
said in your post that if they kept killing people in Gaza, we would have no choice but to go in and kill them. So do you mean U.S. forces would go in and take out Hamas?
No, I didn't say who would go in, but somebody will go in. It's not going to be us. We won't have to. There are people very close, very nearby that will go in. They'll do the trick very easily, but under our auspices.
Could I follow up? You also posted about your call with President Putin today, and you spoke about the meeting in Hungary with him. Do you have a timeline or a date set for when?
I would say within 2 weeks or so, pretty quick. Marco Rubio is going to be meeting with his counterpart, as you know, Lavrov, and they'll be meeting pretty soon. They're going to set up a time and a place very shortly. Maybe it's already set up. They've already spoken. And I thought it was a very good phone call. I thought very productive. But I'll be meeting with President Putin, and we'll make a determination. Tomorrow I'm meeting with President Zelensky, and I'll be telling him about the call. I mean, we have a problem. They don't get along too well, those two, and it's sometimes tough to have meetings, so we may do something where we're separate but equal. We'll
What?
meet and talk.
Separate but
parties,
equal.
but, this is
My man brought segregation
terrible
back,
relationship
talking about
between them.
Ukraine and Russia.
One of those things. I've seen things that nobody would believe, but this is one of them. So we're going to be meeting in Hungary. Viktor Orban is going to be hosting.
Separate but equal.
And it's
Like
It's
water
really,
fountains, the way they should
something
be
that's time.
in the South.
Last
We're back.
week, over 7,000 people were killed. That's ridiculous. And you know, it doesn't affect our country. We're not losing people. We're not losing Bobby. We're not losing Americans. But they're losing Russians, Ukrainians, mostly soldiers, for the most part, soldiers. And we think we're going to get it. We hope we're going to get it stopped. I thought this would be, because of my relationship with President Putin, I thought this would be very quick. And it's turned out to be, who would think I did Middle East before I did this? We did a total of 8 now, 7 and now 8. And we're going to make this number 9.
Why do you think a second meeting?
So you said you posted that there was great progress. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Was it a shift in Putin's tone? Was it something new he told you? Did he give you any message to give?
You're talking about the whole
President Zelensky tomorrow.
It just seems to me that, you know, look, it's only a field. That's all I've done in my whole life. I've made deals. I know about deals. I do it well. I don't think any president's ever ended a war, frankly. One war, I did 8 of them, Maria, right? And but I don't know, did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war? Biden started wars because he was stupid.
Brother,
But,
you are
do you think
entertaining
Biden
a
ended
war
any
with
wars? No.
Venezuela.
I don't know of
A
anybody
whole
that ended
ass
wars. I ended
foreign
8 of
nation.
them. Oh, it's going to be 9. I think we're going to have this one done, hopefully soon. But I'll be meeting him probably over the next 2 weeks. First, Marco is going to be meeting, and the vice president, as you know, is very
It's
much
9
involved.
now.
The whole team
See,
is involved.
remember,
Steve Witkoff
going
will
back
be
to
involved.
to what I was saying. Whenever he says a number, just know it's made up. It's 9 wars now. It was 6, 7. Now it's 9. Maybe 11. Who knows? 9/11.
United
I ended
States of
that.
America too. We have a lot of them, but we need them. I mean, we can't deplete for our country. So you know, they're very vital. They're very powerful. They're very accurate. They're very good. But we need them too. So I don't know what we can do about that.
Why do you think a second meeting with Putin? Why do you think a second meeting with Putin now will yield different results?
Well, I think Alaska actually set a stage, and that wasn't very long ago, but it set a stage. You have to understand, I came into this situation. I didn't start this war. This is a Biden deal, and I came into it, and it was a mess. It could have led to World War III. In my opinion, this could have led to
You said
World War
7,
III.
now 8. He says the
That won't
same. Number
happen.
9 would be Russia, Ukraine.
But
He's
they could
lying
have.
often, not this time.
So I came in,
mean,
this
the lie
war
is
was
the 7
raging.
wars
When I
that he
left, this
ended.
wasn't even a thought.
That's not correct.
For 4 years, nobody talked about it. I spoke to President Putin about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, but there was never going to be doing anything like this. And this all went because of some really bad decisions that were made. And look what you have. You have millions of people dead. You have just a horrible, horrible situation. I'm doing it to save souls.
Also,
That's
one of
all
the
I'm
craziest parts about this, like, I ended wars narrative is that we don't actually account for the wars that he is trying to start, whether it be Venezuela or the bombing campaigns that he continued, like in Yemen, or the genocide that he continued, like in Israel, right? We still don't know if or Iran, and we still don't know if the Israel one will hold. Doesn't seem like it currently, because he's now posturing that he's going to go and kill Hamas.
Drug at the top of this. Were you referring to the weight loss drugs?
I was referring to Ozempic or the fat loss drug.
So those are going to be $150 out of pocket
Yeah,
for
well,
Americans.
they'll be much lower. They'll be much lower.
Okay, that's kind of goated.
We have not negotiated those yet. We're going to be rolling these out over time. The GLP category of drugs, which includes Ozempic, have not been negotiated yet.
What's the timeline for that?
But it will. It'll come down, like everyone else.
Okay. Any timeline on those negotiations?
He says fat like a slur. Okay, he can say it, bro. It's his term. I mean, look at him.
And until he
If Donald Trump can't also, jokingly refer to fat people, I don't know who can. He's fucking fat.
Conservatives have religious objections to IVF and are already critical of this policy. What's your message to them?
I don't know about the views of that. I'm just looking to do something because, pro-life, I think this is very pro-life. You can't get more pro-life than this. But please.
Mr. President, you've been talking about how this new benefit plan will also include root cause treatments for infertility. How will you make sure that those root cause treatments are equally accessible to IVF?
Well,
He doesn't think he's fat. No, I think Trump knows he's not in good shape. You think Trump thinks he's skinny?
I think
No.
it's the determination, again, Secretary of Labor, the determination, the Department of Labor is issuing their intent today to open up the rulemaking process, again, for more flexibility.
He's 6'4" and
Anytime
220,
that
bro.
you
You're
have a
just mad his
president
waist
who's
is more
leading,
snatched than you?
when
It's
can
true.
offer more access to health
Donald
care
Trump technically
at
is
a
like
lower rate is a benefit.
15 pounds lighter than me and my height, according to his official medical record.
Before that, through the Q&A guidance that was issued today with the other agencies, that will give guidance to our employers and the employees about what the flexibility of that is, and then again, opening that rulemaking process for further determination of the access that can be had, offered in those benefits for all different types of healthcare access is the goal of the Department of Labor.
Good answer.
Thank you.
I like this better. I just said, they can do better than me. Yeah, please. Good job, Laura. You know, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I shouldn't tell, I won't say it, that I will not say that she was recommended by the Teamsters. Can you believe it? And she's turned out to be a gem, an absolute gem. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, John Bolton was just
Do you
indicted.
think we could see your deal-making skills applied to the government shutdown anytime soon?
Well, look, I mean, all we want to do is just extend. We don't want anything. We just want to extend, live with the deal that
Yeah.
they.
This is true. These last few Trump presidents have been astounding. Listen up, liberal. I'm fat and going to hell. Like when he was doing the presser on the airplane, he's like, I'm not going to heaven. I'm not going to heaven. I'm not making it to heaven. And then yesterday he straight up said, I'm a fat ass. It would be really bad if I went up to the beach. I'm a little busy. I'd love to go to Argentina. I'd like to go to the beach. My legs are not as quite as thin as his. My legs are slightly heavier. My arms are slightly larger. My body's a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach. I'd look like a beached whale, a fat whale. I'm so fat.
Couldn't kick in. And I said, boy, I hope I win this election because if I don't, somebody else is going to take credit for it,
Yeah,
Bobby.
he said it yesterday. We joked
and
about
sure
it.
as can be, Biden said, he didn't even know what the hell. And it was a hard thing for me to do. I got insulin way down. What was it before that? It was just massive. It was impossible to afford. And sure as can be, because it was statute, it couldn't have been earlier. I said, boy, this falls into the next administration. I better win. And all of a sudden, I watch this Biden taking credit for something that I did, and on other things too. We had a lot of things kick in. So the nice part about this is at the beginning of our administration. So I think we're going to see the fruits of our labor. And I hope on our other situations that we've talked so much about.
When he says stuff like that, remember, we are in the 10th month of this administration so far. It's only been 10 months. Wow. Think about that.
Me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
The case against him?
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person. Okay, anybody else?
What's the timeline for the IVF drug through the National Commission on Priority Review voucher? Dr. McCary?
What do you think, Doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, breaking points is in there.
First of all, the National Priority Voucher Program says we're going to proactively at the FDA look for amazing treatments like this IVF treatment. We're going to reach out to the companies, and if it's in line with the president's national priorities, we're going to put those drugs at the front of the line and get a decision out in weeks instead of a year. And so today we announced 9 drugs that are going to be recipients. These are products where the manufacturing is going to be in the United States, or it's meeting a large unmet public health need, like a diabetes drug we announced today. Or it is a product where you're going to see an affordability phenomena because the prices are getting equalized in line with the president's most favored nation status goal.
Wow, that's great. Why didn't I have him speaking? So could have saved a lot of time. Thanks, Manny. I'm not surprised. Yeah, please.
Yes, thank you, Chris. So Senate Majority Leader John Thune today said he'd like to proceed with the bill which would put sanctions on Russia. What's your thought on that?
Well, we're going to see. He doesn't know about the call yet. I'm going to speak to him later. And it was subject to what I wanted to do. And so we'll see what happens. This may be such a productive call that we're going to end up, we want to get peace. We want to stop the killing. 7,000 people a week. Can you believe it? We want to stop the killing. So I'm going to speak to him and the speaker, Mike Johnson. I'll speak to them a little bit later, and I'll tell them about this, and we'll make the right determination. I'm not against anything. I'm just saying it may not be perfect timing. It could happen in a week or two, but it's at my option, as you know.
Right, but did President Putin try to dissuade you from selling Tomahawk missiles?
Well, of course. What do you think he's going to say? Please sell Tomahawks?
No, but did he give
Is he going to say, please sell those Tomahawks? I really appreciate it. I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way. He didn't like the idea. He really didn't like the idea. No, I said it that way. You have to be a little bit lighthearted sometimes, but no, he doesn't want Tomahawk. Tomahawk is a vicious weapon. It's a vicious, offensive, incredibly destructive weapon. Nobody wants Tomahawk shot at him.
Did he specifically ask you not to provide Tomahawks?
So, wouldn't anybody? I mean, it's been in the news. Who wouldn't do that? CNN. Who wouldn't do that?
Fake news.
You think he's going to say,
Fake news.
I'd love to have Tomahawk sent my way? I don't think so. Maria, we have one of the great stars of television here, and she's an incredible person, and she's just an amazing
Maria
woman.
Bartiromo.
She got it all right. She got the Russia hoax right. She got everything. Would you have a question?
Yes, Mr. President. I would ask you why this was so important to you, IVF, and why was autism so important to you? What are you trying to achieve?
Well, autism is like a whole different thing. When you look at it, was 1 in 20,000.
Oh, what is happening,
Now it's
bro?
1 in 12. If you look, Bobby, we have different numbers, but
I
1 in
swear to God, he saw the way Modi treats his media press pool and was like, I want that here and I want it now. Oh, Americans, are you enjoying what it looks like to live under an autocratic leadership? Are you enjoying the show? It's so funny to watch this happen. I never thought I would watch this happen twice in my lifetime. Okay? It's like I literally left a country where exactly this happened, came to the United States of America, and watched conditions unwind until the exact same Turkification was complete under the rulership of the great Donald J. Trump. Fucking awesome. It's great. Maybe you're bad luck. I think this is just everywhere, no matter what. Not very funny if you are not white or financially secure. I know.
Tell what you did when you heard from your friends. You said this was not, they almost became violent. Right?
I told him, I said, Mr. President, we need you. We need your voice in this conversation. We need the directive. We need the strong support because there are millions of people out there, moms and dads, wanting to bring life into the world. And you had people, the chilling effect that occurred across Alabama, there were people that were in the middle of that process that have been praying to have.
I feel like there was more resistance from the Turks at the time when Erdogan was doing his shit than I've seen in America against Donald Trump. Like, I think Americans broadly are sleepwalking through this process. By and large, it feels as though many Americans are either completely oblivious to exactly what's going on, or the ones that do tune in get fatigue from all of the outrage, and they just go, what am I supposed to do? I just have to still deliver these Uber Eats deliveries. You know what I mean? Like, I can't pay attention to this shit. This sucks. Yeah. By the way, John Bolton has been officially indicted. Another big, beautiful presidential moment here. John Bolton, breaking via CNN. President Donald Trump's former national security advisor turned adversary has been indicted by federal grand jury in Maryland, according to two sources. CNN previously reported that the investigation centered around notes Bolton was making in an AOL email account while he was national security advisor to Trump. John Bolton, welcome to Antifa, sir. Welcome to the anti-fascist coalition, sir. Look, I already told you I'm gonna let him fight posture when it comes to Bolton. He is a bridge too far for me, but it's obvious that these investigations are a sham. It's ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous. Also, one of the funniest aspects of this is that John Bolton still has an AOL account. That is, that's an indictable offense in and of itself. Oh my God, that is spectacular boomer shit right there.
So we'll go back to all of that. Prices are down. Oil is down. We're down $58 a barrel. We're gonna be hitting $2 for gasoline. I think we're gonna be at $2. And the previous administration, they were at $4 and $5. They were going up much higher, and then they swung back into my things, but they didn't swing back properly. They were very, very late. They really blew it. We had it really going in the right direction. They came and took everything out, and it's incredible. I'll never forget. They lost control of the price of gasoline, of oil. They totally lost control, Howard, and then they went back immediately. Well, let's go back to Trump. But by that time, it was too late, and they didn't go back because the leases and everything else. They didn't do what they had to do. They wouldn't know. They really didn't know how to. It was to $2 a gallon. I'd love to break it if we could, but we could be. And when that comes down, everything else has been coming down.
No, it hasn't.
Groceries are down.
No, it hasn't. No, that's not
things
true.
Things are down, and
that actually has not happened. Yeah, it turns out when you have unlimited corporate consolidation and virtually every sector is an oligopoly run by like 1, 2, sometimes 3 mega corporations, they actually still keep the prices as high as physically possible, even if other things become less costly. It turns out there is no reason to lower prices at any level. As a matter of fact, they're doing that. They're not doing the let's lower the prices now. A gallon of gasoline is cheaper. That's not happened at all.
Very much, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
So that's really funny that this asshole is lying about this thing that is like demonstrably incorrect. You're bald. Okay. Yeah. Don't believe your lying eyes. Yeah. Saying I'm bald is like saying grocery prices have gone down. Expected. Anyway, John Bolton indicted by grand jury. I know, Comrade Bolton. There's hog on hog violence, obviously, but first and foremost, we're going to